On this week's show, Aiden Duffy reports from the tennis courts, we have a behind-the-scenes look at the 132nd Olla Pod team, we sit down with Anne Kabay, continuing our series of faculty and staff profiles, and an exclusive interview with Capstone lecturer David Greenberg. Lawrenceville's 10-minute newscast begins right now. From the studios inside the Lawrenceville School's historic Pop Hall, this is L10 with Ghael Fobes. Hello and welcome to this week's show. This past March, a group of Laurentians traveled to Ecuador to study field ecology. Led by Science Master John Clark, the group documented 5 previously undiscovered plant species during their trip. Fifth former Neil Ajarapu has been awarded the prestigious Jefferson Scholarship. Given to 34 recipients annually by the University of Virginia, the scholarship covers the cost of tuition for 4 years at the university. The art gallery has opened a new exhibit featuring Karen Titus Smith. Titled Abstraction, Smith's work features a variety of three-dimensional and textural abstract artwork. Charlotte Rupp has been named the winner of the Woodrow Wilson All-School Speaking Competition. Speaking on the importance of reading, Rupp was chosen out of a pool of 5 finalists who each addressed the student body at last week's school meeting.
To me, this means holding fast to books, to the words that have enabled us to transcend our own limiting circumstances in order to experience what we couldn't have otherwise. Reading is empowerment, not only because of its educational value, but because there's truth in what it reveals about who we are and what we're capable of. If we can keep reading, words will pry us from the narcissism that social media has encouraged, prompt us to question what the internet asserts, and most importantly, equip us to act as empathetic leaders in a digital age.
Now, from the tennis courts, we have our sports correspondent, Aiden Duffy.
Thanks, Ghael. Today we debut the 2016 Boys Varsity Tennis Team. With a combination of winning returning players and promising new young players, the team is poised for success. Head coach Nick Lewis inherits a team that won the Maple League title for the last 4 years, including last year when they beat powerhouse West Windsor Plainsboro South. I'm here with head coach Lewis. So coach, given that you have such a strong group of players, what are your goals for the season?
Well, we have a good combination of young incoming freshmen and some more seasoned players. So the major goal is, of course, developing continuity with the team. Larry's been a great captain and so far, and so I want to see how they come together.
Coach, I have to ask, what do you value most about tennis?
What I value most about tennis is how competitive it is. I really think pressure and competition brings out the best in individuals and able to thrive under such pressure and circumstances. Yet tennis also creates this cohesive community. I saw it with the girls in the fall, and I'm seeing it develop already with the boys in the spring. So that combination of competition and community is a pretty powerful thing.
Hi, I'm here with senior captain Larry Cummings. So Larry, you were an all-prep standout last year. What are you looking forward to most this season?
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the blossoming talents we have on this team. We got 3 really good freshmen, Jeffrey Kai, Barin Reddy, and Gardner Howe, and they're all 3 of them are really good, and I'm really excited to see them blossom as players. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to most, and just getting closer as a team. Like last weekend, we had our first big road trip, and I think we really gelled well as a team, and so I'm really looking forward to just getting closer with these guys.
So being that it is your last year playing Lawrenceville tennis, what do you think you'll miss most about the program?
I think I'm going to miss the camaraderie. I mean, things have been really different this year considering we just got a new coach, Coach Lewis, and we all miss Mr. Cantley, but we're really becoming really close as a team, and I'm really going to miss that. It's something I'm really when I'm looking back on, that's something I'm really going to miss. My sophomore year, we were a really tight team, and last year we were a really tight team. I really just miss making these personal connections and playing this great sport.
With what promises to be an exciting year for Big Red Tennis, I'm Aiden Duffy from the tennis courts. Back to you in the studio, Ghael.
Thank you, Aiden. Earlier this week, our senior news correspondent and executive producer, Chisom Ilogu, had the opportunity to sit down with the 3 editors-in-chief of the 132nd Olla Pod.
So this will be the 132nd edition of the Olla Pod, and that's a lot of years, a lot of traditions. So how will you guys merge the ideas of old and new that come with a long-established thing like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very different from what it was 133 years ago. I mean, they used to write all of them out and draw all of the graphics, and now we use all these computers and Photoshop and InDesign, and everyone's really quick and fast at it. And so, but I think ultimately what we want to do is contribute back to our community, back to everyone in this school that has given something to this special place. And we want to give these seniors who are leaving this year memories that they can keep. And so 50 years, when they look back at these Olla Podridas, they can be like, wow, that was a great time I had at swim practice, or that was a great time I had at orchestra rehearsal.
So I think, the most obvious one is that we try to keep the pages we did last year or the year before still in this year's yearbook, but we might add a little new pages. Like the faculty poll this year was new, but we kept the dividers, the faculty pages all the same, and we also added the mail room as one of the faculty lists while we didn't last year. So those are little changes, but overall it stays the same.
Great. And lastly, anything big we can look forward to in this year's edition of the Olla Pod?
I personally think each page has a silhouette, and it's a different silhouette for almost each page, depending on the sports, depending on the club. And so I think that's a big thing to look forward to. And also the cover. It features three of our members. So if you can try to guess who it is, I guess bonus brownie points.
And just to add to what she was saying, the silhouettes are really cool because they were hand drawn and then drawn up on the computer. And I think that's an interesting way that we've been merging old and new, where it used to be done in paper and now people are drawing it onto the computer. And so it's really cool. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I guess lastly, we try to include every single person in this school in this book. We don't want to exclude anyone from it, and we want to try to make it the school's yearbook and every student here and faculty here's yearbook. So I think we really try to maintain the diversity of our campus in our book.
Thank you, Chisom. Our news correspondent, Eliza Koren, had the opportunity to interview Anne Kabay, the assistant to the director of day students. Ms. Kabay, as described by many students, pumps life, laughter, and a handful of candy to not only the day students, but the community as a whole. We wanted to interview her, continuing our series of faculty and staff profiles.
What brought you to Lawrenceville? Why Lawrenceville? What initially attracted you here?
Well, living in the area, I've always been in awe. And then our son got accepted and was scheduled to start in September, and I heard about an opening in the library, and here I am.
And what do you love the most about your job?
Being a part of the community. It really is a lot of fun, and every day is interesting in a different way. And we're lucky here in the office to be able to interact with students and faculty and parents and all the constituents involved. And it's really exciting and vibrant and fun to be a part of it.
And we'll miss you when you leave. What will you miss the most about Lawrenceville?
The community.
Yeah.
And all the activities involved in meeting and being with interesting people the most. I have very mixed feelings, as I really enjoy being here.
What do you hope will remain the same about Lawrenceville even after you're gone?
I think the change. I think it's one of the most important aspects of a community is the traditions, but also keeping up with the smaller and smaller world that we have. And I think you all, students, do that.
Thank you, Eliza. On Monday night, we had a chance to talk to David Greenberg, Associate Professor of History and of Journalism and Media Studies at Rutgers University. Greenberg authored The Republic of Spin, the history of political image making and crafting. We asked him if the tactic of spinning a politician's image ever backfired.
I do think that if you go too far, it does backfire. If you sort of stretch the truth or make claims about your opponent that aren't tenable, it sometimes does backfire. Yeah, I think that was a really interesting case because I think there was something, oddly admirable in what he did, which was to stand up to Trump and to sort of give him a taste of his own medicine. And especially in the debate, he did it very effectively because Trump would interrupt him, he would interrupt Trump right back. He would make fun. And I think if he had limited to that, it would have been good. I think when he continued doing it through the next many days, he confused his own image.
Thank you, Professor Greenberg. That is our show for Thursday, April 7th, 2016. From all of us here at L10, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at L10 News. We'll see you right back here next week. Good night.